Welcome back to the Heart Coaching. I'm Bryce Wise, and today we're going to learn about how to avoid unhealthy connection, and especially when it comes to like family members or really close connections. Let's find out. We're going to hit on is don't take the bait. When you're fishing, you only catch fish if they take the bait, if they bite the bait with the hook in it. And so many times, especially I've seen it so many times in my life where I respond and get a reaction which causes more things to come up because I took the bait of them. They may have not known they were putting the bait out. They may not have seen it, but really, one of the best ways you can avoid unhealthy connection is not taking the bait. If you know you have triggers and you know how you have things that are insecurities or deep pains, those things, when they come up, don't have to be baits. They don't have to be struggles for you if you know what those are. The next important thing when it comes to knowing and recognizing unhealthy connection is you have to know yourself. You can't not catch the bait if you don't know if you don't know what your triggers are, if you don't know what your insecurities are. If you don't know those things, how are you going to be able to stop and not go for that bait? How are you going to change the conversation? How are you going to move past that if you don't know what it is? So the thing you can do to actually avoid unhealthy connection is learn about yourself, learn about your triggers, learn about your insecurities, and really start working through those things. Because when you know those things, all of a sudden, those insecurities and those things aren't becoming triggers anymore. Well, so you have don't take the bait, you have identify your triggers. Now let's work through those triggers. It's good that you know what triggers you, but what's better than knowing what triggers you is not only knowing what triggers you, but why it triggers you. Because when you have insecurity or fear or anxiety, those things can become triggers for you, and those things can be used as weapons when unhealthy connection comes in. And so when you have unhealthy connection come in, all of a sudden those things that you get triggered from become used as weapons. Well, if you start getting healed from those things, whether it's anxiety, fear, insecurities, whether it is like knowing your self-worth, any of those things, all of a sudden, when you start getting healing from that, and that can take some time to get healing on it, that can take process, but when you get healing from those areas, all of a sudden the bait and the hook doesn't seem as like you have to respond back, because, well, you're not insecure about your weight, you're not insecure about how people perceive you, you're not insecure about your past. You've worked through that, and that really helps you eliminate a lot of those barriers and those trip-ups. And the next thing you can do to avoid unhealthy connection is put yourself in a healthy boundaries. Put yourself healthy boundaries to really help protect you and help be able to sustain the growth and be able to stay away from those boundaries, those hooks. And so healthy boundaries may look like, hey, I'm not going to engage in this conversation if you start going down that road. Healthy boundaries may look like, to the extreme of I won't contact you if you keep bringing this up. And So when you have healthy boundaries, it makes it a lot easier to work and get healing from your insecurities and your triggers and all of those things, which makes it easier to not take the bait. And so when you have those kind of things, it starts really helping you. And you have to be able to work through your insecurities, not only with yourself, but also with those people that are around you. And that's probably the last big point of this, is when you have healthy boundaries and you have healed yourself and you're not taking the bait as much anymore, well, it helps to have them realize that those things could be triggers and those things could be stuck, and they know it, and tell them how you feel about that. Because when you actually have family members, friends, co-workers, spouses that understand that those triggers hurt you, that those pains hurt you, and that, like, instead of being loving about those pains, they were using them as a weapon, all of a sudden that makes, when they know that, it starts building empathy with them, and it makes it a lot easier to actually start getting the hooks out of the water. And I think it's so critical to go through that last point of, like, working through with them, because especially when you're in close connection with them, a lot of the times they don't even realize that these things are affecting you or hurting you, or you don't like them, because they've been in such a, like, whatever it was that made them trigger that, you gave them so many reactions to it that that's how they respond now. And so I think our big takeaways today is, first off, identify the hooks and the areas in your life that can be triggers that can lead to unhealthy connection. Number two is work on those areas in a healthy manner and learn why you're triggered that way and how you can get out of it. Number three is figure out those triggers and work them through so that you can have healing and restoration in your life. And then number four, talk to the people that are doing these triggers so that they can understand where you're coming from and where it's coming from. And so thank you guys so much for taking the time today to build better, healthier connections. Thank you for taking the time to really learn and invest in yourself in healthy connections. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I read those. I love seeing those. Please like this video if it was helpful in any way. And you can find us on YouTube at The Heart Coaching and on Facebook at The Heart Coaching. And if you want to go deeper into connection and really learn more about connection and why it's so valuable and how different types of connection can really help you grow, find us on Facebook. We run a webinar and that really dives into depth about connection. And so thank you guys for taking the time today. And just remember, when we connect, life gets better. See you.